Now we're going to talk about planting the Belladonna Amaryllis. The thing you need to remember most of all, because this bulb stays in the ground year in and year out. The thing you need to remember is when you choose a spot to plant this bulb, you need to make sure that water does not pool in that area during the winter. Now you can say, oh, I have a dry yard. And that's true. You probably do have a dry yard. However, it's dry in the spring, the summer, and the fall. Many areas that are always dry in those 3 seasons pool water during the winter season. So choose an area where there is no pooling of water in the winter. Then what you're going to do is you're going to dig a hole because you're going to plant this bulb deep. Remember, this is a nice big bulb. It can find its way to the surface. The stem can find its way to the surface regardless of how deep you plant it. So you want a good 8 to 10 inches of soil on top of the bulb itself. Now that means the hole you're going to dig, in this case, if it's a 10 inch, if you want 10 inches on top, this bulb is easily another 6 inches. You're going to dig a 16-inch deep hole. Then you're going to dust the hole with some bone meal, and then you're going to set the bulb into the hole, pointy side up, and then you're just going to bury the bulb. Then you can water it in, but you don't need to keep watering this unless you live in a desert, because there'll be enough rainwater or water from other sources that will keep this bulb nice and moist while it begins to grow for you. In the spring, it will send up leaves. They will all die back. Please put a marker where you planted this bulb. I have more customers call me and say, when are you going to get more Belladonna Amaryllis? Because I dug mine up and I put a shovel right through the middle of it. So try to remember where you put it, because it will totally disappear. And then in the fall, what will happen is it will send up its flower stakes. But to plant this, you need to plant it very deep. Add a little bone meal. Over time, and by time I mean 2 to 3 years, it will bud out a new bulb, and you can, in 3 to 5 years, dig it up, separate off its bulblets, and place them in other parts of your yard. But this guy needs to be planted deep. The soil should have good drainage, and it likes to have some organic matter. So adding a little peat to your soil as you are digging the hole and mixing the soil that you take out of the hole will help to a small extent. I do not encourage people to grow these bulbs in containers. They take a lot of space. They need to be planted deep. But if you are inclined to ignore my advice and plant the bulbs in containers, don't plant them in a container that is smaller than this. This is a 10 to 12 inch pot, diameter pot. You're going to put the bulb in this pot, one bulb, very deep down. See how deep that bulb is? And then you're going to cover the whole thing with soil, and you're going to dust the top surface of the container with bone meal. So my strongest admonition to you is put these in the ground. If you can't do that, then a pot this size is the smallest pot you should plant something like this in. So that's about all you need to know about planting the Belladonna Amaryllis either in your yard or in a container on your deck or your patio. I wish you much luck with this. They, like I've said many times to many customers, there's nothing like that burst of spring pink in the depths of the fall to make you hopeful for what next year will bring in your garden.